first episode of Perspectives. I'm your host, Christopher Niarchu, here with Ma'am Katani, Savo Cuts, and Amori Cuts. This is the first episode. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
I'm hyped, man. Okay, well, let me take a hit live.
For sure.
Oh, wait,
You get that.
This is
This is our first time with the hookah.
yeah, what is second every time with the hookah? A second. I'm not gonna lie.
You guys hitting it like a vape. Holy. Inhale. Perfect.
Okay, Amir, you gotta tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, buddy.
Let's start. Let's get it rolling.
You put it on me now, huh?
Yeah, you are our guest. This is our special guest today.
Let's go.
Amori Cuts,
Oh, yeah.
business owner and soon-to-be father.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How's that
for sure.
feel?
Oh, man.
Like,
amazing.
Do you
It's a
feel
crazy
like
feeling.
do you feel like stressed at all, or like?
No, man. I eat stress for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love stress.
I like that.
Yeah, when it
did
comes
you
to
like-
stress, it's something that you have to embrace, man.
Yeah.
You have to love it, you know? It's
No,
a
literally.
journey, obviously,
You're
right?
comfortable with it.
How's your wife doing though? Like,
No, it's amazing. Yeah, she's doing good. She's handling it well.
first
for her
child?
First child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's been a long road.
And
But yeah,
wait, how old are you?
me 23,
You're 23.
Yeah.
So wait, what are you? 1998?
99.
You're 99.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's young.
Bro, you're only like 4 years older than us.
Nah,
I know.
4 years is all one. Actually, no, never mind.
I'd say 3 years. No, 3, 4.
Like 3-4 years, something like that.
How old are you?
I'm 03.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years older than me.
Oh,
That's
okay.
crazy.
Math is not good here.
And you got a
So
business.
we're barbers. Yeah, man. No, for sure. Like, just like you said, you know, when it comes to stress, you just gotta kind of embrace it, right?
Is it like? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, just with the kid coming on the way, and this business startup, right? There's a lot going on in my life, but it's something that I enjoy. Something that, you know, it's obviously a good time for me. You know, I'm in my prime. I'm young, and you have to take every opportunity that comes at you. You can't be kind of, you know.
So if it's like, even though it's stressful, you just like doing it, so it kind of
Yeah,
takes away the stress.
Of course. And if you look at it in a normal point of view, like if I bring up to someone like, hey, listen, you know, like, oh, I'm having a kid, or I'm opening up a business, or whatever it may be, you always see their reaction, and it's always negative, or it's always like, you know, worried for you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, are you sure? Are you good to do that? You know. But at the same time, you kind of like take that as a motivation, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, in many instances, I've talked to my clients, I've talked to my peers and people around me, and it's been kind of stressful dealing with the way that they react. You know what I mean? And that's the hardest part.
If
right?
they say that though, could it just be like they're not in the same financial or whatever situation as you are?
It could be that. So that's
they're
how you have to look at it,
yeah.
right? You have to kind of see things from their point of view. You know, maybe they're in school, or maybe, you know, they still haven't figured out their life. And
Because like 20,
yeah,
23 is like super young to have
Very
a kid.
young, yeah.
And
Amazing.
you're married too, I'm assuming, yeah?
married,
And to
yes.
be married, having a kid at
for
23.
sure. No, 100%.
Like, I can't even imagine me doing that, even though like I want kids at kind of a young age.
Of course,
But-
no. You want to make sure that you're making the right decisions at the right time. And I feel like everything that's happened in my life up until now has happened for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I wouldn't make the decision with my wife, okay, we want to have kids, if, you know, I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If I was worried, if I thought, you know, maybe I can't handle that. But looking back at it right now, I feel like there's things that happen basically right after the other, and just tackling those type of obstacles, they've kind of shaped the person I am today.
Yeah.
And it's looking back at it, you're glad those things happen to you, because let's say, for example, you start young, you start these things young, you never know, the sky's the limit. You're still young, you know, you're still ambitious, you're still hungry. You wake up every morning and you're excited to go to work, you're excited to do what you love. And I feel like that's a kind of like big aspect when it comes to doing something like this. You know what I mean? It's very tough to handle a barbershop like this, and to handle, you know, 13 barbers all at once. But going into the shop every morning with a smile on my face, even when things get tough, it's what keeps you going. You know what I mean? You're young and you still want to keep going, right? And even when things kind of hit you, you kind of just swallow it and you're like, you know what? Back at it the next day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how it is for me. Like, that's how I deal with things, you know? Especially when it comes to very difficult scenarios. And I won't lie, I'm a religious kind of guy, you know, like
You're Muslim, yeah?
yeah, and I like kind of looking at things from a spiritual point of view, especially when it comes to something like this, you know?
Yeah.
You want to know where you're at in life. You want to know what kind of mindset you're going for, what you want to push your kids to do, you know. And even for yourself, you know, for example, if I want to have a kid, obviously at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm in the right mind space to have one, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I do. So I let's say I do deal with something, or let's say there is a big stress that I'm handling. I go back, I kind of pray, you know, kind of sets my mind straight. And I remember why I'm doing this, you know, and that's a big thing, your why. You know what I mean?
Why are you doing this?
For example, there are times that you come into to any industry, and you sit and you just talk to yourself and you say, you know what? Is this what I want to do? Is this something that I'm comfortable doing for my whole life? You know, like to wake up every morning and to do this, it kind of gives you that woke moment where you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe this is something that I don't want to do. Maybe I have a passion for something else. And that's kind of what pushed me. That's what drove me to kind of start something like this, right? And even then, like, a why is the big aspect because of the fact that, let's say something does happen, God forbid, to you or your business, you can wake up the next day and be like, okay, you know what? I'm back at it, and let me just do this again, and try a different way, or try a different point of view, and it'll kind of help things, you know, work out for you because you are looking at your industry or what you're doing or your future in a positive view because it's something that you love, you know what I mean? And that's why I tell people, you know, if you are gonna go into something, make sure you know why you're doing it. Make sure you have a reason, you know.
Well, did you like always want to cut hair since you were a kid, or how did you get into, like, do you have like family members who cut hair? Or, like,
well, yeah, like I do have family members that cut hair, but I never really thought of it as a career.
Yeah.
Up until I guess I'd say high school, grade 9. My dad used to cut my hair, and I would just think about what it'd be like to be a barber, you know, like to actually be in a shop. And I've never been in a shop up until I was in like grade 11.
Really?
So it was kind of weird for me to go into an industry that I've never seen, you know, advance. I've never seen growth in it. And even then, I was telling my students the other day the same thing. It's like, you guys don't realize that fades and things like this haven't come into, you know, the industry up until recently, you know what I mean? So just going into an industry like blindfolded basically was very tough.
Yeah.
And just kind of seeing different point of views and finally meeting different barbers and seeing how they did, it kind of pushed me to go into the industry and see where it takes me, right? Well, other than that, that's kind of why I made that decision. It was like, I was young, whatever, and I just kind of seen people around me, whatever, like kind of going into the industry, and I thought, you know what? If there's like 2-3 people that I know that are going into this industry, why not try it? Whereas when you're in school, you see maybe, you know, 100 kids, 200 kids go into a certain place. Like, let's say they go into engineering. You know, another 200, 300 kids go into, like, let's say med school. And these things, you look at them and you're like, you know what? I'm going into industry where there's only 2-3 people that I know, or even just in my circle that are going into this, right? And it kind of pushes you to make that decision, because when you're young and you see something new and something that's kind of growing, you want to be a part of that growth, right? And that's why you see every day, we see it in the shop. There's people coming in and telling us, you know what, I think this is something I want to do. These are people that have been in school for 5-6 years now. And they'll tell me, you know what, I want to switch my career right away, right there and then. And they kind of regret that they didn't make that decision earlier. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they see it's fun. They see there's money in the industry. We can't lie. There's a very good income when it comes to barbering, right? Or any type of hairstyling or services. You know, you're your own business. Whether you're a barber or a barbershop owner, you're always, you know, expanding your business, even if you're working in a shop. You know what I mean? And I think people like that. I think people like that control.
Yeah, and I feel like it's actually harder for barbers to get clients because, like, at least for me, I would never go to anyone else but Sab to get my haircut. For sure. Like, no offense to any other barbers out there, but, like, I feel like people will just go to someone they trust. So, like, I don't know how it is for random people coming in the shop if they just go to, like, some random barber.
Exactly, and that's how it is for some people. Some people don't care where they get their haircut. They'll be like, you know what? I just walk in the shop, I just need my cut. And there's some people that are passionate about the way they look.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I'm sure you get a lot of, like, picky clients.
100%, and all the time. And we see it. We see the passion in people's eyes when they come and they sit in your chair and you give them that look, and they're so happy. You could see in their eyes, you know. And this is what pushes us. We're here every day. And you can imagine that even when I'm working with Sab, you know, there's times that I look at his cut and I'll be like, damn, that's a fresh cut.
Yeah.
I've been in the industry for 7-8 years, you know. Shouldn't I be tired of it by now? You know what I mean?
No.
And then same thing with him. He'll look at my cut and he'll be like, oh, bro, that's fresh, this is that. And it goes for everyone that works with us as well, right? And there is a passion in the job, and that's what kind of pushes people to go into that industry. Like I said,
you're saying you see a lot of like good things in Sab. Like he could definitely be the best
For
barber in the world.
for sure. Sabo is sick.
He's the best barber in the world right here.
Upcoming.
I have a question. Speaking of like getting into barbering, and everything, how do you feel about trying to get into barbering?
So
There's definitely like a lot more now than there was when you were starting and I was starting.
100%. To kind of give you a perspective of things that I've seen in my past, going into the barber industry is not easy because at the time it was not easy because there was people that were kind of like intimidated, you know, or people that were worried or like, oh, you know what? Why is this guy going to the barber industry? And, you know, what if he takes my clients or what if this or what if that, right? And that's something I dealt with. You know, for example, we have trainees over here that basically come in here every day, morning to night, and just sit in their chair and wait for a client.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys just are waiting to learn, right? This is an opportunity that I was never given. This is something that I kind of lacked, you know. I was in my garage most of the time I was cutting, and I would have to learn the hard way, you know what I mean? And it was very, very tough for me as a new barber to just kind of go into an industry where you feel like, you know, kind of intimidated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was very tough, you know, but looking at it now, coming into this time, and you see barbers that come, or young guys, you know, or even people that have been in the field already, they come to you and they tell you, you know what, I'm thinking of starting barbering. The intimidation is gone now, you know what I mean? You've done it all, everything's good to go. But you look at this kind of decision and you worry for them because you know how it is to kind of start from the bottom, you know what I mean? And it's a great example with some of the people that I know where they started barbering for the wrong idea. It was,
money.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of money in it, I want to go into it. They don't know that you got to sit in a shop for hours without anyone in your chair. You know what I mean? They don't know that. They don't know that there's difficulties in terms of, you know, obviously your income, you know what I mean? You have bills to pay, whatever it is. And that's why I tell barbers that are starting up that, listen, I hope you're not like in crazy need right now. Because this is going to be something you're going to have to sit out for a bit. You're going to have to watch.
100%.
You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to advertise, you know what I mean? But I do give them that advice. And if that advice falls in their criteria and they actually want to come and just learn, by all means, I love seeing it, you know, and that's my opinion. Like, if that's your question, my opinion is that if their criteria meets what I think it should be, I feel like, you know, they have the right tools and whatnot, then yeah, no problem. Go ahead, go for it. You know, do your thing. Come and learn, you know. Even if they're not working with me, you know, I love seeing barbers come in and be like, you know what, you know, I'm young and I want to go into this industry. I have nothing to pay. I have nothing to worry about, you know, and that's a luxury for some people, you know. There's some people that are less fortunate, and we know this, you know. People come in, they tell you, bro, I need the money. You go, oh, well, bro, like, you know, at the same time,
at the start.
you know what I mean? You're not going to make nothing. It's going to be very tough, you know what I mean? But I feel like if that criteria does meet, you know, they have some potential, you know, especially if they're doing something different. You know, if they're kind of advertising themselves in a different way, sometimes it kind of sets you apart from other barbers doing, you know, the same thing, just cutting hair, posting online, videos, whatnot, seminars. Some barbers come into the industry with creative ideas just because they come from a different, you know, point of view. They come and see something different. Maybe they have something that they went through that kind of taught them how to advertise themselves or how to like kind of show themselves off, you know. And these people usually make it. These people usually do a good job. And I've seen it happen with multiple barbers that have worked for me and barbers outside of the industry. They try something different, they try something unique, and it ends up working out for them and blows up. But yeah, just to answer your question, yeah, I feel like if they do meet a good criteria where it's like they don't have to worry, then yeah, I feel like it's a good career choice. I feel like it's something that kind of looked down upon, you know, that people kind of put to the side. Once they're in need, they start looking at, you know, different things, you know, and this is the first thing they look to. It's like, what can I make as a barber? What can I make as a hairstylist, right?
I was actually thinking, when you're hiring people here, like, how do you decide who you're gonna hire? Is it like from what the barbers say if they know someone, or is it like if someone comes in and they're like, I want to work for you? Like, what would you say to that? Because I know you already have enough barbers here, right?
Well, obviously we live in a very, you know, small community. You know, we all know each other very well. People know others, right? And you want to make sure that you kind of some kind of background knowledge before the person comes in. Like, for example, you go to any type of job, right? They ask for, like, let's say police check, all this stuff, whatever. I feel like when you bring a barber in here, they want a second chance, or it could be their first chance, you know, and you want to kind of give them that chance to learn and grow. And many instances I brought on barbers, not because of their skill, not because of how they cut, not because of any of that, but because of their manners, the way that they act around people, the way that you want to see the responsibility, you know what I mean? And that's what kind of like kind of puts that light bulb on my head, like, okay, you know what? Maybe this is my guy, you know what I mean? And that's how I pick people. I pick people based off of how they act.
Would you have them come into the shop and cut hair, or would you be like, okay, send me a video of like cuts you've done?
Of course, yeah. You want to know how they cut hair. If
Like-
it's you need to know what you're going to be putting into that barber. You know
Because
what
like
I mean?
he's starting his garage and he was just cutting hair, posting and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that you've seen a lot of his stuff before you even hired him.
For sure, yeah.
Because
no problem.
Sajjad probably mentioned him to you, right?
Of course, yeah. And that barbers here, that kind of shine light on him, telling me, you know, this is the next guy, whatever. He's doing his thing, you know. He's also very respectful, which is something I admire about Sabo. You know what I mean? Like, he comes in here. He comes here on time. He never misses an appointment. He's never late. You know, he takes his time on haircuts.
Plus, he always got that shit on though.
He's always stylish, you know. You never see Sabo on a bad day. You know
That's
what I
what
mean?
I'm saying. Get him together. You're always like dripped out.
Exactly.
Like what the fuck?
That's sick.
100%. This is something that you want to see in someone, you know. You want to see that they take care of themselves. If they take care of themselves, they'll take care of the shop. They'll take care of you. You know what I mean? They'll take care of their peers. But at the end of the day, we see each other more than we see our families. You have to be honest.
No,
I come in here, I see this
spend
guy's
way more
face all
time.
day long. I get tired of it.
Yeah.
But because he's so nice and because he's so kind and so giving and whatnot, you kind of just deal with it like he's your brother, you know?
Yeah.
You know, whereas there are some people that I have worked with in the past where you can't stand. Unfortunately, these people, they're just, I guess it depends. The way they're brought up or
Like
whatnot,
annoying?
you can't blame them.
Like-
Yeah. Well, not just annoying, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the disrespect, you know. At times, there are people that you kind of bring into your circle. You give them everything you want, you know, everything you have to offer, and they kind of take that and they take advantage of it. And they start trying to get, you know, very comfortable, and they start saying things that aren't supposed to be said.
Like,
and
is it like bad words or like?
No, like, let's say, obviously, we're in a barbershop. We have to
joke around.
Yeah, we have to
Like someone take it too
we have to know that, you know, we're in a barbershop. There are going to be times where people are going to get, like, made fun of or whatever it is, because we're like a brotherhood here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are times where you kind of see someone's true colors from a small scenario, and then it kind of just sheds light, you know what? Maybe this is not the type of person I want to be around,
Yeah.
especially every day, you know what I mean? Maybe this guy is affecting another barber's life, you know what I mean? And there are some things and some examples that kind of show that, and it's not always swearing. It could probably even be like just like passing a boundary, something that you hold dear to you. For example, like, let's say, you know, everyone has their own pride, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone has their own like thing where they're like, you know what, just don't pass this line, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, even if we're joking around, just don't pass this line. And I kind of make that clear to them when they walk into the shop and they're. But it's like, I guess, you know what, Amir is nice to me. We're comfortable now.
They
Let me
just
say
get
this, you know what I
get
mean?
comfortable around you.
And let me see if people laugh or whatever. And that kind of ends up not working in their favor, you know what I mean? And I give them chances. I give many chances. I've actually fired and rehired people just because of the idea of like, maybe this person was just in a bad time, you know what I mean? Maybe he just said something and he didn't mean it. He was just trying to kind of like, maybe that was his way of humor.
Yeah.
But just looking at things, right, like time and time again, it's like you just kind of see their true colors, and you say, you know what, maybe this is his mindset. His mindset is negative. It's
Yeah.
disgusting. You know what I mean? It's something that I've never been raised around. It's something I never grew up around. You know what I mean? Obviously, I grew up around a brotherhood. I grew up around like, obviously, like good friend of mine that has taken care of me, and I've taken care of them. And you look back at it and you say, you know what? This is not something that, you know, that I grew up around, so I can't tolerate it. You know what I mean? But what I do is, before I make a decision like that, I kind of talk to the people around me. I talk to the barbers around me, the closest to me, the people that advise me. And I'd say my father's a big deal when it comes to that. You know, he comes and he kind of gives me the right advice all the time. And obviously, I look at it from a different point of view. I'll go to someone and be like, you know what would you do in this situation? And it'd be like, you know what, that's
You just
disrespect.
need
know?
other people's
Yeah,
perspectives.
exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Before you make a decision like that, because this is someone's career, you know. And I've done it many times. And as a small business owner, you know, these are things you have to do.
Like
When
you just gotta make a logical decision, not an emotional decision.
Yeah, like let's say the corporate world, if you say something, just one small thing that's just, just crossing the line just a bit, just to like make a joke or something, right away they'll write you up. Yeah. Right away. Why should I come here and just say okay to everything you say just because we're in a barbershop? You know what I mean? There are some boundaries when it comes to these things, and that's something that I hope, in the future, barbershops adjust to that. Not everything is, sometimes you have to keep that professionalism. Sometimes you have to understand, this is a good shop to grow in, I'm getting a lot out of this. Let me just kind of watch what I say, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Let me not, and sometimes it's not to me, sometimes it's to someone else.
Yeah.
I've been in a situation where I had to let someone go because he got into an altercation with the other person. That other person didn't like what he said.
Like one of your boys or something.
Yeah, and it happened many times. It wasn't just once, and this is something that I'm like, you know what? I have to make a decision right now. This is something that it's affecting this barber. He might leave.
Like it's like real disrespect, not just a joke.
And like real disrespect, real like passing boundaries, saying whatever they wanted at the time, and just when you're in that situation, you don't look at anybody's advice. You see that person, what he's dealing with, and you say, you know what? It's either this guy leaves and I have to deal with this guy doing the same thing to another barber, or I just get rid of that virus and kind of get him out and keep this barber, right? And this is something you have to kind of look at as a business owner. These are things there's so many things that I could talk about when it comes to this. It's just, when people say, oh, open up a barbershop, it's not that easy.
Well, I'm just opening up any
exactly,
business.
Yeah, just any business, for sure, 100%. And let's say, I like to kind of relate to like the corporate world. Before I make a decision, I would like to think like, for example, as funny as it may sound, let's say for example, what would I'd say Elon Musk do in this situation? For sure, like I'd actually do that. I'd be like, you know what? He wouldn't let this guy slide. You know what I mean? Why would I let him slide? Yeah. Obviously, it's a big example, but it's something that there's the same situation here. Yeah. When you own a barbershop or just any other business, there are people that are going to come to you with their feelings. Yeah. And tell you, you know what, I'm dealing with something. There are people that are going to come to you with financial needs. There are people that are going to come to you for just regular advice. Just advice,
Wait, since you said that, I actually have a question. With the financial needs, do people ever come up to you asking you for like money, or they're like, oh, I need something, like, can you do this for me or whatever?
Well,
because now that they think you're a business owner,
lower the chair rent.
Yeah, like there are people that kind of are in certain situations, and you just got to be there for them.
But then, like, if you make an exception for one person, don't you have to make it for everyone? Or
exactly, that's a problem. So I try to keep it as professional as possible when it comes to something like this, and I kind of just give them the point of view that I have. I let them know that I'm in a situation where I need to pay shop rent, I need to pay certain bills as well. You know what I mean? This is what I could do. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then kind of figure it out later on. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. I always like to say that just so that I don't put that pressure on them.
Or like even family members. Or you help out your family though.
Of course, yeah. Like you have. This is like where are you from? You're Italian?
Greek and Romanian.
Greek, Romanian, and Italian.
Yeah.
All right. These are very good examples. Like I'm Arab. We have the same culture. We have the same kind of brotherhood. We take care of our family. We take care of our mom, our dads. You know what I mean? Even if it's not financial, it can be mental. It could be just there to support them through a rough time. This is something that you always have to have this in you. To be a family man is something that every man is built with. And eventually you will see down the line that there is going to be a situation or a scenario where you're going to be like, you know what? Maybe this is time for me to say something. Maybe this is time for me to stand up for somebody or do something. And once you do that, I guarantee you, once that light goes up, everything else in your life changes. Yeah. You see things from a different point of view. You know what I mean? And I've been in that situation many times where I've seen people kind of, like they're quiet because they don't know how to defend themselves. They don't know how to say something, And because this person's your brother or whatever, or just your friend, whatever, you don't want them to kind of have a bad look on them or whatever kind of thing. Like, oh, I could say whatever I want to this guy anymore.
Like you gotta stand up for yourself.
You gotta stand up for yourself. You gotta be there for your family. And like I said, it could be financially, it could be mentally, it could be any way possible. In my life, and I like to be honest, is my dad helped me out a lot financially when I started up. You know what I mean? And he was there for me. So I knew that this was something that I'd have to like repay back, not because he wanted it, but because I wanted it. This is something that I wanted to be able to take care of my family once they grow up. Right?
And I feel like a lot of people nowadays are like embarrassed if you have to borrow money from your dad or whatever, friends will be like, oh, like that's just daddy's money, you know. And it's like I don't think there's any problem with that because like eventually you'll pay your dad back if it's successful, right?
Exactly.
Like, I think parents should help out
For sure.
if they can or as much as they can.
The thing is, like, that's even another topic. Like, when we go into something like that, something personal, something like actual real life situations, these are things that we don't talk about, But when it comes to you being in need, and obviously you have your family there for you, if you are fortunate enough for a father or a mother or a relative to kind of help you out, whether it's starting a business, whether it's getting out of a debt, whatever it is, you know what I mean? These are things you have to be grateful for, and you have to show people that this happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we have a saying in our culture is like, show your gratitude, show it off, like make sure people know that you did something, you know what I mean? Obviously not everyone you tell them like, hey, listen, I did this for this person, you know what I mean? But you want to kind of make sure that, that you are that type of person that you would help if something happened to them, right?
Make sure what? If you could say it louder. Where? Yeah, the blue one? It's supposed to be blue, yeah? Yeah, it's on.
But yeah.
Yo, Sam, after you're done, let me see that. What are we at? 25? Okay, we'll go for like an hour. But yeah, no, even like when it comes to like moving out, like I feel like people are so pressured to move out of their parents' house, whether it's like their parents want them to move out or whatever. But I don't see anything wrong with someone living with their parents in their 20s if they're trying to start up a business or something.
100%.
Like, if they need more money, I don't think there's any like pressure.
No, there
to
isn't.
move out or urgency.
And this what you're talking about right now is a Western mentality. This is something that people in the West here in Canada, America, whatever it is, this is what they think. Oh, you're 16, you get out of my house.
Or it's like,
I take care of you already. It's done. But in our culture, this is something that shouldn't be done. This is something that I guarantee you, your mom. I guarantee you, she'll tell you live here as long as you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not because of anything, but because she loves you. Obviously, she knows that you have to find a career, you have to do things on your own at one point. But this is something that I grew up with. Like, my dad never told me to leave the house. He never told me, you're done, your time's up. I actually took the initiative and told my dad I want to move out. I think I want to start.
And you
something.
live by yourself now?
Yeah, I do live by myself. Yeah. And even then, before I got married, I was living alone as well, right? And imagine this as as Middle Eastern mentality, and you tell your dad I want to move out. I live with my friends. You know what I mean? This is gonna be like, what? Like, you're here, you're eating, you're sleeping, whatever. Everything for free. What makes you want to leave? And looking back at that decision, it helped me out so much. But like you said, to go back at the topic of kind of helping out, if a family member helps out or whatnot, this is because they love you. This is because they care for you. You know what I mean? There are boundaries. There are times where it's like, okay, you can't go to your dad. Dad, I want a Beamer. You know what I mean? If there's a situation at hand and your dad's fortunate or your mom's fortunate or just a family member in general, if they're fortunate enough to help you, that's amazing because now you know that person, is actually there for you in that rough time. You want to know who's there for you.
Just like don't take advantage of it and ask for
Of course, yeah.
Exactly.
No, you want to know who's there for you. That's 100%. And I tell people all the time, especially these guys, the shop, know who's there for you. Know the people that are actually going to get your back.
Yeah.
I've seen many scenarios. Yeah, I've seen many scenarios where a guy gets backstabbed or, a friend, something happens to him and the other person rats him out or something like that. I've seen that with my own eyes and just kind of like taking that in and looking back at it, I feel like this person, if they just made the right decision at the time and knew that person was not for them, they wouldn't be in that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I think we're pretty fortunate. Like, we have a pretty good friend group.
A good
solid guys, all
brotherhood,
well.
That's amazing.
Like, we got each other's back. Thank God.
I admire your friend group. You guys are tight. You guys take care of each other. You know what I mean? It's something that you need.
Yeah. We don't just want live boring lives.
Of course, of course. And you guys have goals.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like something like this, like a podcast like this, is very hard for someone to start.
That's what I'm saying. I think the hardest part is just starting. Like, the whole reason I wanted to do this podcast was because like I do like to learn things. I love listening to podcasts, and I was like, man, like what better way than starting my own podcast where I could get guests on, learn from them, and as like we're learning, like from you or whatever, they can also learn too.
Of course, yeah.
I think it's just a great learning experience in like a fun way because a lot of people don't like to learn, and I think like podcasts are the most interesting ways to learn.
100%, yeah. And here's the thing, even then about podcasts, they're always around people that are like, you know what, let's start a podcast, and you kind of see that they're not serious. You kind of see, you know what I mean? for example, right now I'm talking to you guys as my friends. I'm talking to you guys as like we're in the barbershop.
Yeah, it feels really natural.
You know what I mean? This is something that you want. This is something you need. You know. And I've seen many podcasts. My head around. This is someone that went through one little life situation and he thinks that, you know what I mean? Like I've been through times where I swear to God, and I like being honest. Just right here in this corner, I sat here, empty shop, concrete, everything, and I cried my eyes out.
Really?
I tell you the truth. This is something that happened to me. This is personal.
Like out of like joy, like
out of fear, out
fear.
of things that it's like you're going into a big industry that you never know if you do good or not, you know. And this is something that would happen to me. This is something where you break out of nowhere and just bawl your eyes out.
Because like realistically,
You know
the
what I mean?
hardest part is just starting.
Exactly.
I think too many people are afraid to start because like, oh, this could happen, or
Exactly.
this, you know, something bad will happen.
Many times I
And they
sit
just think
here
very negatively.
for sure, and I sit here many times, and I think some of my barbers kind of notice it, but I just look at them and I admire what I've built, you know.
Yeah, like,
I
this is
admire
all
it,
yours,
You know what I mean? And I look at it and I'm happy for them because they're getting something out of it. You know, this is something where it's like, just imagine yourself in a position where there's no one there for you. You know, you've been in a situation where, you know, you've maybe even been short on money, you know what I mean? Or just a family situation. And you're dealing with something like opening up something like this, you know what I mean? Or opening up, or just kind of starting a venture. Imagine that stress and imagine that pressure that gets to you. It breaks you. And I've been in times, like I said, where I'm broken and I let it out right there and then. And I just get up and I act like nothing happened. Why? Because you need that. As a man, you need that. Straight up. Let's be honest.
Just
As a
like-
man, you need to get it out because if you don't, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think too many guys are afraid of like
It does
expressing
kill
their
you,
emotions. You
100%.
know,
For
when
sure.
like there's nothing wrong with expressing your emotions. I think the only part where it makes you weak is if you don't take action on it.
For sure.
You know, you
for
gotta
sure.
you can let out your emotions or whatever, but you
100%.
gotta take action. You can't just feel sorry for yourself and not do anything about it and just cry. You know.
No,
You
of
actually gotta
course.
take
This
action.
is something that you can't just sit around like you know, like we've met people time and time again where like the barber chair is the best place to talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just you hear people's way of thinking, and you know, it's just you feel bad because you know how you would deal with it in their point of view. You know, or what they would do, but you can't put that on them right there. They want to be hurt. You know what I mean? They want to be hurt. They enjoy it. It's like it's like I've seen people. And
Some
I-
people
That's
enjoy it.
just
Enjoy it.
it makes
That's
you
a
stronger,
good
you know?
perspective.
And nothing
Right.
against that whole depression thing, but let's be honest here. If you have something like that, you need to take action. If I cut myself open right now, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go to the doctor and fix it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are times that I've sat, like, let's say for example, I've been to many places. I've been to New York, Maldives, Dubai, all these places. Even Miami. At one point when I went, I'd talk to a kid, just a regular kid, and he'd tell me all his life experiences and everything he's done, and he'd be happy. He's like, you know what? I want to start this. I want to start that. And then I come back to Hamilton and I'm cutting a kid. I tell him, how's your day going? And he tells me shit. I tell him, okay, well, elaborate. He's like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? It's like, why is that point of view like installed in your head that your life has to be shit? You know, like, why would you even answer me that? You're making me feel bad. You know what I mean?
It's like
At least lie to me. But
it's like they look at so many negative things that went on in the day, but like they're not just grateful for what they have, you know, or like say like all the good things that happen. They mention the bad things. you know?
100%. It's like, and I like that. Like, okay, open up to me, but don't open up to me then shut down right away.
Yeah,
You know, now
exactly.
you're making me feel weird. You know, like now I don't know if I give you advice or I don't know if I just shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is something like, you know, like it's just me looking at things I've been through. I've been in situations where I think I'll be like, you know what? I think I'm actually depressed. You know. But then I'd realize, okay, you know, if I do this, if I do that, you know, let me get out of it this way. You know, if this is what's happening to me right now, what if I do this and this fixes it? You know what I mean? And this is something that's just an instinct. And I feel like every man can build that instinct. It's not hard. I feel like you just out of, you know, after specific life occasions, I feel like a man should just build that, you know, kind of idea. There's like, you know what? I need to take action, you know, and we think with our brains. This is how we're made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are people that think with their hearts. You know, they're obviously, this is something that you have to have. You have to have feelings, whatever. But when it comes to making a decision right there and then, you have to be comfortable. You have to be in the right mind space, and then make that decision. You know what I mean? And then kind of see if it, you know, if this works for you. You know. And I've been in many situations.
I know
that kinda
Alex
help.
is feeling like super inspired right now. Like,
Sure, sure. And I like to see that, bro. I like to see
Yeah,
that.
man, I feel like inspired right now. Damn.
That's good. Yeah, that's what we want, right?
Exactly.
We want to get something out of the talk, you know what I mean? And this is something.
Man, you're like really good at like sharing stories and stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's actually good. That's what I like.
He's a
Like,
storyteller.
I cannot share a story like him.
Yeah.
At least not right now.
He's
Best
ready
boss.
for this.
That's actually best boss ever. No, I swear to God, you guys have the best shop ever, bro. Like
I know.
the work environment here is awesome. I wish because I just work at a grocery store, you know. I wish it was like this. This seems like the best job ever. Obviously,
Yeah, it is.
I'm not gonna be a barber.
Put
but
a
this
couple
is-
barber chairs and Fortinos and you're good to go. I think that's the way to do it. People will start coming and talking about their feelings.
Literally. But like I don't know, too many managers are just so bad and like they don't trust their employees. It's like they have to micromanage you, and I hate that
100%.
because I feel like you gotta trust them. I feel like you should trust everyone until they give you a reason not to trust them. You know?
That's
Like
very
is
true.
it hard like managing people here, or is it easy?
Well, yeah, obviously, when you're bringing new people into the shop, you know, like I was cutting with a specific group for straight 4 years. You know what I mean? I knew everything about them inside out. You know, and
Yeah.
I knew how to deal with them if they acted a certain way or whatever. If they came to me with a certain situation, you know, and you kind of just look back at it and you're like, you know what? How am I gonna, manage another new group? You know, how am I gonna trust these guys? But to be very, just like you said, you just gotta trust them until they do something that kind of takes that trust away. But this is something that every human is built with. You know, immediately if you meet someone, and they're being kind to you, they're being nice to you, they're showing their good aspects to you, you're gonna trust them. You know what I mean? It's just human nature, for us to trust people. And once that trust is betrayed, it's very hard to get that back.
And obviously, to tell if you can trust someone, it's like a lot of like appearance is a big thing on that too. Like if you look proper, and
For sure.
I feel like some people though they look like they can't be trusted,
but they're like
that you can
they're
trust
like
them.
yeah, you can trust them a lot.
Yeah.
But
100%, 100%.
No, I agree.
This world is so deceiving. Man.
it is,
Just-
and that goes also for like relationships, business, like trusting people like
Keeps
that.
it interesting.
'Cause I feel like even in relationships, people are like, they think they can't trust someone because of an old, like something that happened in the past, They got cheated on or whatever, and then they're like, oh, I have trust issues now. I think that's like pretty stupid because you should trust them unless they give you a reason not to.
For sure.
You shouldn't be with someone you can't trust.
100%, yeah. And there has to be evil in order to see the good in people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has to be there. You
I
know
think,
what I mean?
yeah, and I think it's good for like,
know?
like, I don't say it's good for bad things to happen.
Imagine you
but
trusted everyone, and everyone just did you right all the time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Your mindset would be, you should be happy. Something happens to you, you're gonna break right away.
But no, like sometimes you need those people to like stab you in the back, so it kind of makes you a stronger man,
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I've been stabbed in the back multiple times.
But now, like it
Yeah,
makes you
100%,
smarter and stuff like that.
100%.
Because hardship is what builds a man.
Exactly.
What's so funny?
Now that you're just coming out with your quotes.
That's pretty good, eh? I gotta like clip this and put this on TikTok. Like,
Oh yeah.
Since we're on on the topic of like relationships, how'd you know like when your wife, like how'd you know your wife was the one?
like you were gonna make her your wife.
Oh yeah, that's something that's very hard. I don't think that a man just comes and just says, you know what, this one's the one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like when you're young, got a lot of hormones going through you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You make the wrong decisions, and I've been a victim of that. I've seen, obviously, time and time again where I've been in a situation where I thought that was the one and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like through people's actions, you kind of get to know them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
100%.
you have to be around them. You have to see them at their worst, and you have to see them at their best. You know what I mean? And there's a beautiful saying in my religion where it's like there are 2 days in your life. One is against you, and one is with you. And when it's with you, right? And when it's with you,
I love this.
you got to be grateful, right? And you got to appreciate it, right? And if it's against you, you have to be patient.
Yeah.
You have to pray. You got to be, composed. And I feel like this is something I live by, And if I see someone in their worst, I want to see how they act. If they're patient,
Yeah.
if they're trying their best, you know what I mean?
I love that.
This is something you have
was
to.
a great saying.
Exactly.
That is a beautiful saying.
It is, and
It
this is
makes
something
more
I live
sense,
by.
though,
You know what I
too.
mean? And I've been through it day by day. And I could see it. Sometimes the day just doesn't go with me. It's not working out. And I'll be like, you know what? Maybe this day is just not with me today. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just against me.
If like people give up on you when you're like at your worst, then they don't even deserve you when you're
Exactly,
your best,
exactly, 100%. And that's something I've seen with my spouse. I've seen it with her, time and time again. I actually met her before starting in the barber industry,
Yeah.
and she gave me that that push, like go do it. Try to see what you could do. Try to see if this works out for you, and if it doesn't, it's okay. You know what I mean? I went into engineering. I dropped out the first semester.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Did you ever go to school for to be a barber?
No.
So you're like self-taught in it. That's so awesome.
100%.
You're gonna be an engineer.
Well, engineering is like what this stuff kind of like. It's similar. You know what I mean? It's a
and going into that trade, like we're getting a bit off topic, but I'll get it out of the way. But going into that trade
creating.
and sitting, knowing that you don't know anything about what's going on and what this trade is about, you start thinking to yourself, you know what? If I already know a trade and I'm very good at it, why not go and perfect it instead of going into this trade and start something new? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just to go back at what you're saying with finding the right person, like I said, you have to see them at their worst, and you have to see them at their best. And this is something that will guarantee you that this is the one or not. You know, I've seen girls the way they act in their worst. You know what I mean? And it's not pretty. It's very ugly.
100%.
And there's something that I live by where it's like a woman's looks will fade away. Okay, if you marry her for her looks, it's gonna be a situation. Okay, if you marry her for what she has, her money, whatever, if it's a house, if it's a car, if her family's wealthy, you never know, that can be gone. But there's one thing that can't be taken away from a woman, and that's their manners, the way she acts with you, the way she is with you. You know what I mean? There are times I've seen my wife and I in a really bad situation where I'll be like, you know what? You know, because she acted like this, because she's giving me that motivation, because she's being there for me, tomorrow I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna make it right. I'm gonna fix it. You know what I mean? Whereas imagine you sat with your wife that day, or with your girl, for example, and she shows you the most ugliest side of her. She tells you, you know what? I don't think this is it for you. You're not doing good. This is that. You know, it just kind of gives you a negative output.
Yeah.
Or let's say, for example, you just made a mistake, you know, and she tells you why, you know, you're not a good person and why this and why that, you know. This kind of shows you the type of person they are, you know. And it's not hard. It's just, I think people our age, they kind of overlook that. When they look at it, let's be honest here. When you want to get to know a girl, why what is it for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there's one goal, you know. But if you look at it from a man's point of view and kind of see the future, what I like to do is if I make a decision, I have to tell myself, is this decision gonna help me in the next 10 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something I kept in mind. If my wife has been there for me since I started cutting hair, you know what I mean? This is 7 years we're talking about now. You know, whether or not we were talking on and off or whatever, but looking back at it right now, she showed me her true colors that day.
Yeah.
But I was just blind of it. I didn't see it. You know what I mean? She showed me who she was that day. You know, so I feel like if you do want to choose that person for you and you are ready and the time is there, you know, never really be ready. But once you're in a situation where, you know, you're like, I don't mind if I get, you know, locked down now, you want to make sure that the person has those, you know, those kind of values, you know.
Same values as like you have.
100%, yeah. And
I think obviously
just like
some guys just talk to women for, you know, other reasons.
For sure, yeah.
You know?
That's all over the world. Like, this is every man, you know, we're built with it. You know, this is something this is how we're engineered. You know what I mean? But you just have to make sure your head's straight and, you know, you're looking straight across and not, you know, other ways. You know, because trust me, it just kind of messes things up for you. You know, especially if you're choosing a spouse, someone you want to be with forever. You know what I mean? You want to look straight. You want to look ahead. You want to see the next 10 years with her. You want to see the next 20 years with her. Is this person going to take care of your kids? You know, those kind of things, right?
Do you think young people should like look for a wife or like just look to have fun when they're young? I'm actually curious.
Well, when you're young, you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, you know, you have to be responsible.
Like, what if you meet someone when you're young and then like you think they're awesome, right? Like, they have the same values as you and stuff like that.
Don't get me wrong. I know people that marry their high school sweetheart. You
Really?
know what I mean? I know that. I know people like that. You know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know. when you look at it, it's like, I feel like people are so, I don't want to say like immature, but like, it's like you talk to them and they tell you, what are you getting married for? Have fun. What do you mean have fun? The fun's going to fade away. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It kind of doesn't sit right with me. So I can't kind of push my mindset on someone else. But I do know for a fact that if you want to get married, you have to have some sort of responsible, you know, mindset. You know, you can't be you can't be just messing around. And, you know?
No, like nowadays it's so much different, like the dating and stuff like that.
Of course, yeah.
Because, you know, now you got to worry about, people are like, oh, what's your snap score? What's this? You know, who's she been with before?
100%.
It's like, I feel like it's so much different than it was back then.
100%. Oh, 100%. Those things, I feel bad for you guys because I didn't go through that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know what I mean?
I feel
I feel bad because I don't know how to kind of explain it Honestly, listen to Andrew Tate. That's not, I don't know. He's probably the best.
I feel like this generation is just like.
I don't know.
fuck for
Yeah.
me.
When it comes to that stuff, I feel like I slipped right through the crack. You know, just kind of like I got away from that. You know, and I look back at it now. I'm like, I don't think I'd be able to meet a girl in this time. You know what I mean? I don't think I have the confidence to kind of do that. You know, but because I met a girl that that was obviously off that stuff, and I'm very happy. She's a very religious woman and all that. You make that decision and you're happy with it because there's no past or whatever and all that. So that's what I'm grateful for. But I don't know. Just to answer your question, I honestly don't know. I can't say I know everything. I don't know how to answer that.
Just gotta take it as it comes.
Exactly.
Go with the flow.
Yo, caption that, bro. Put that in the bar. Take it as it comes.
Take it as you come. That'll be the name of the episode.
Sabo cuts. Take it as it comes.
Can I hop on that too when you're done?
Of course, brother.
I hope my parents don't watch this. Oh my god.
Oh, there's no
This is
nicotine.
like-
There's no tobacco. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Don't worry.
Man, I swear to God, I don't smoke, and just for the podcast.
Are you telling me to your
Here,
mom?
I got a question here. Even though I already know,
Yeah.
just for the viewers, what's you have anything like planned?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah, I was
future?
gonna ask you
I
that
was
too.
gonna ask you that. Yeah.
I know we got that.
Yeah.
What's your next
What's it
step?
called? The convention or the competition coming?
Well, like when you're in the barber industry, there's just so much to do, right? There's so much to kind of like expand. You wanna do seminars, you wanna do classes, you wanna do, let's say, like just barber battles, things like that. But to give you like a kind of solid idea, those things all happen easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those things you plan them, you organize them, and it just works out. And obviously it's something I want to do. I do want to teach. You know what I mean? I do want to, like, let's say, for example, I want to do some sort of like advertising for my shops and whatnot. But what's most important to me is to build this barbershop, is to kind of franchise it. You know what I mean? And kind of get out there more and have different cities, know me, better. Because this is something I lacked. When I built my portfolio, it was only in Hamilton. This is something that I only built here, and let's be honest. Like I've been in a situation where I do go to a barber battle in Toronto, and I don't know anyone there, and they don't know me. You know what I
A
mean?
barber battle?
Like a barber battle, kind of like a competition or whatnot.
You do those?
They do those. Yeah,
Really?
they're very cool.
Yeah, you should do one.
But yeah, and that's what we're planning. We're planning to do a barber competition here in Hamilton. It'll be the first one.
Damn.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything like it. And
That's
I feel
exclusive right there. They're the only ones that know.
100%. Yeah. This is something that
So
no one
I was
knows
winning
yet.
that first one.
So like for growing like your business stuff like that, did you notice like it's better just doing like word of mouth or like social media? Like how do you market this a lot?
When it comes to marketing, it's just something that
Or both?
yeah, it's just a lot to talk about when it comes to marketing. But I think to put it all in one piece, in one line, I'd say you have to basically sell why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
the
It's like
idea,
sell why you're doing it.
The
Not
idea
sell
is
what you're
huge.
doing, sell why you're doing it. You know what I mean? And that's what people like. People see that and they're like, you know what? This guy's doing this because he loves it, or this guy's doing this because he has a bigger goal in his idea, in his
Yeah,
plan.
like, I'd rather support Amori Cuts
what I
than
mean?
first choice. You know?
Exactly. Like when you
Hate
see
that
someone
person.
trying to do something, are you not going to be there in his chair? Or you're not going to be there for him, even if it's outside a barbershop? You're going to be there for that person, But if that person, like if they're just doing a regular cut and they're just here at the shop and they're just sitting waiting for their clients,
Yeah.
that person's not going anywhere. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That person's not going nowhere in life. If that's their output, if that's their mindset in terms of just kind of growing themselves, I'm telling you right now, they could be a waitress and they won't grow.
Yeah.
They won't do nothing. You know what I mean?
You
Even
gotta
if
provide-
let's say even if that person was a millionaire, they wouldn't grow. In that mindset, they wouldn't grow. So what I did was I obviously showed real life scenarios to people that I know, telling them what I'm doing, what I've been up to, kind of get personal with them. Like, oh, like I'm thinking of doing this, I'm thinking of doing that. And when people see that, when people hear that, like, you know what, this guy opened up to me. This guy's telling me this. And he's a barber. Maybe I should go support him. You know what I mean? That was the
You
way.
gotta be their friend.
That was the way I did that. And I obviously a lot of it is social media, but to be very honest, when I first started, I'd go out, I'd go see people. You know what I mean? I'd go to like let's say a party, or I'd go to like for example just like at a restaurant and see everyone there. And we used to do it at shisha lounges. I'd go to shisha lounge and sit at every booth that there was at the place. Yeah, just to talk to them. Hey, what's up? Da da da. You know what I mean? Now like and looking back at it, because I did that, because I built that connection with people, I feel like this is what made those people kind of come into my chair and actually get a haircut from me. And I know people that that cut hair that are good, whatnot. They're not crazy, but they're all right. They're doing their thing. But because they're selling the way that they talk, they're selling their reason, their why, they how, all of that kind of played a role in why they're big now. You know what I mean? Why they have so much clientele. And I feel like that's something that has to be shown. Even if you're very shy, because let's be honest, I've met a lot of shy barbers and just like stylists and whatnot, and it kind of affected them, but they had to get out of their bubble, because this is an industry that makes you get out of your comfort circle. Right away, your comfort zone, you have to erase that out of your mind. It's done, it's gone. You know what I mean? You have to come into this industry hungry. You have to talk to people, and your tongue is your biggest weapon when it comes to this type of stuff. And you look at it, it's in real estate. You look at it in anything. You have to be able to go and talk and tell people your story. And this is what kind of grew me. Obviously, giving people a little insight on who I am. Instead of what I do. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what helped me achieve that goal and achieve that, I guess, success. I don't want to sugarcoat it too much, but I do hope that I am in a situation where I have done something successful. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's how I did it. And just kind of went around and talked to people, and yeah, it's word of mouth. It's marketing. It's I'd say a lot of social media posts, a lot of videos. I started doing videos very, very early into the barber industry, and this is kind of what showed people that, maybe I am a little different, I'm doing something different. And I'll do like funny skits, and stuff like that. And now even then, like, I'm kind of lacking on that. I don't do it much, but it is because I'm busy, because of those videos in that past. It's what helped me get to this point. And now I'm in a situation where, no, I have to work. These people are now coming for their haircuts. Obviously they enjoy coming here, but at the same time, they want to get their haircuts done, right? So, but yeah, that's kind of how I grew, just marketing yourself, selling yourself kind of thing.
Damn. This has nothing to do with what we were just talking about, but I was actually wondering, have you ever cut any celebrities?
Celebrities? Yeah, I've cut a few, but nobody too crazy yet, I think that's something maybe hopefully down the line I'll be fortunate enough to do. But right now it's just when I like to explain things like in a real point of view. We live in basically a society where it's like you have to work. You know what I mean? Every day. I've been to places. For example, let's use Dubai as an example. These guys probably work 2-3 hours in their day. You know what I mean? They come home, they have dinner, whatever, and they go out. They enjoy. They see friends. That's something that that we lack here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just work here.
If I had that leisure, I'd be able to go and talk to celebrities. But I don't.
Yeah.
If I had that leisure, I'd be able to get in contact with certain people. And I have people that I cut that have contacts with these people, but it's just something you need your time for. Let's say the celebrity asks, he wants you to cut his hair. This guy probably wants you to take your whole day off. Okay. And sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes the celebrities are a little bit stingy.
Yeah.
Like, don't think that they pay a big price. They're very tough. Sometimes it's just $100. You know what I mean? But you look at it like, okay, yeah, it's good marketing. But today I have this to pay, I have to make this amount by the end of the week. I have to, I like being honest. I like showing people that side of me. I want people to know it's real life. Everything's not just fun and games. And that's the problem here. We live in that society where it's like every day.
Do you think it would sometimes be worth it to risk the pay? Like,
I feel like, yeah, of course.
To get
If you're in a situation, 100%. If you're in a situation where you're able to, and I would love to, honestly. I feel like down the line, I might have that opportunity. You meet people every day. You're bound to meet someone. I know some promoters that have, they always have like rappers on their, coming to their, let's say, the club or whatnot.
Yeah.
They need a cut or whatever. I know these people. It's just, I don't know. It's just something I don't know why I stayed away from it, but it's something that I should work on.
Yeah.
But I have cut a couple of celebrities.
Really?
Yeah, but not. Yeah, for sure. But it's not like crazy people. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I cut this Albanian rapper. He's big in Albania, but he's huge in he's like the Drake of Albania. But he came here and he asked to cut with me specifically. I cut him at the shop. And I remember I was just cutting this regular guy. I don't know.
Like, did he see you on social media? How do you find
Yeah, he found me on social media, and his friend knows me very well, right? His nephew is my client.
Yeah.
And you, I remember it so vividly. It's like, I'm talking to him like he's just a regular guy, whatever. We're having a good time. We're talking, whatnot. I post this picture online, just a haircut. I'm telling you, every Albanian that I know on my Instagram messaged me that day.
Really?
No fucking way he's in Hamilton. No way this, that. You know what I mean? And then people like, I'm going to this concert tonight. I'm going to this. You know, like it was cool, but it's not like he's someone that we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess people like that, you know, that are kind of low key. You know. Otherwise, I don't think it's people you know.
So you don't have like a celebrity that you'd want to cut. You're not like that, are you? Or is there
Of course.
someone? There's someone.
I want to cut Drake.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I want to cut Drake. Drake says nice. Drake, if you're watching this, brother, your haircuts are horrible.
I'm gonna send this out.
And
to
your
Drake.
braid up, your braid up needs work. We got Pamela over here. Shout out Pam.
It's jokes. Whenever we watch World Cup, we look at the haircuts. And
Yeah,
stuff.
you look at these haircuts on celebrities, and they're actually horrible.
Really?
You think of like, how did they get? How did this barber get this
I
connection?
mean, you guys also like barbers, like you know what's a good hair. Like I can't even tell the difference. I'm like, it's just a haircut to me.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, buddy, we've seen some shit ass haircuts. Yeah. No, it's actually really bad. But it's just something I don't know. I guess down the line, if we get the opportunity, why not? You know what I mean? I think Sab will get the opportunity before me.
Maybe we'll see.
He's drippy like this all the time.
Bro, you better bring me, bro.
I will.
I'm gonna start freestyling for Drake. But
Okay.
5 more minutes. Okay, we got 5 more minutes left.
Should we touch on in the 5 minutes we have? Trying to think of a good question.
I guess if you could go back in time and like talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him?
Oh, buddy. You know what? That's funny that you even asked that because I've been in so many situations where I thought, you know what? Right now, if I were to drive up on my, let's say 10-year-old self, and just tell him, you know what, everything's gonna be good, this is that. I would have loved that. Like, imagine, when you look at yourself,
about that too.
you know what I mean? And I've talked to my brother-in-law about this too. Like, he's given a nice output on life, you know? Life, think of it as a train, okay? It's on a train track, right? And let's say you're looking at this train from a window, okay? Looking at it from a window, what are you gonna see? You're just gonna see one car, right? Now, for example, you go on a building, right? And you see it from the building. You're gonna see a couple more cars, right? And let's say you go on a skyscraper and now you're looking down and you can see the whole train, all right? Life is a bunch of scenarios that are bound to happen, you know what I mean? But you have to pretend, you have to put yourself in that situation that it's already happened, you know? Let's say you were a kid and someone told you that. Pretend that you're gonna be a crazy barber and open up a shop and it will happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's gonna happen, because it's in your let's say lifespan, you know that this is gonna happen. You've kind of you see things way better, you know.
Instead of like killing the dream and saying like,
Exactly,
you should
yeah.
go to this.
Like he's like my brother-in-law is a very very wise man, and he always brings this up. He's like, manifestation is such a big thing. Manifest the idea that you've already done.
I think manifestation is real. Like,
You know,
you gotta manifest.
100%.
That's worse for me.
Like, I manifested today that the ketchup from my burger was gonna fall on me. I swear to God, it fell on me. I swear. And it was right before a show. It was right before a seminar I was gonna do. And I'm like, fuck, I go and I take off my shirt, I wash it. But I swear to God, it's because I manifested it, the idea of happening.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I put it out there. Once you put it out there,
Yeah.
and never say like, I hope or I wish or this, that.
Like, you gotta
say
say-
that I've already done it. Be like, oh, I've already done it. And me and my wife always pass beautiful homes, and I'm like, be like, damn, that's our house right there, eh? All right, let's go back to our, our other house, our small house, and then we'll come back to this place later. We always say it as a joke because I like putting it out in the universe that it's gonna happen.
That's a
you know what I
healthy
mean?
relationship.
Damn.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I
You
love
want
that.
it. You
I
want
was
that. You want
yeah,
that.
that's good.
That manifestation. But to go back and to kind of talk to you said talk to my younger self,
18-year-old self.
18-year-old self. Oh, buddy.
I think I got a
That's
cut
like-
from you when you were 18, maybe.
Yeah, when I was young. Yeah, I
What?
first when I first started.
Maybe, yeah. Because I remember Amir was at iFresh, and
Yeah.
Damn.
I used to go there in high school, and he left and we got his own place on concession. I was like, wow.
The
So
old
you were the first guy for me to like move out because iFresh was the first haircut place most people
Yeah,
went to.
most people went to.
So
yeah,
you
of
were the
course.
first guy
Shout out to Aiden.
Yeah.
Who's watching this, but yeah, it was.
You were the first guy in Hamilton that everybody knew that opened up their store.
Yeah, even then, like you're young too. Like I
Leader,
opened my
first
shop
person.
at 19. You know what I mean?
First
I was
person.
19. I walked into that shop and I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
It was just me and Suni. I don't know Suni. Shout out Suni if he's watching this too. But me and him just kind of dominated. We took that little shop and we just did whatever we can with it.
Yeah.
He actually, I sold him my shop, so he has it now.
Yeah.
And he has his own team. You should bring him on sometime.
Oh, yeah,
Talk.
for sure.
I think I get
Yeah.
Sunni in here.
Yeah. But even just to go back on topic.
Well,
like,
my little brother inspired by you. No, it's
yeah.
with Sunni.
Yeah, your brother's doing his
Yeah,
thing
my
too.
little
Yeah.
brother. So yeah,
That's amazing.
Put your mark in there.
For sure, 100%.
That's awesome.
But even just to go back and kind of I'll tell him, don't trust everyone you meet, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there are people in my life that have I don't even know what, bro. They would snake me so bad. Like you go back to it and you're like, how can a person do this to you? You know what I mean? And there are times where I've been there for someone. I've let this person sleep in my bed. You know what I mean? And then they had the audacity to kind of switch up like that over what? You know what I mean? Like this is the kind of things I've seen. And I just wish I could go back and tell my younger self, like, don't trust everyone. Don't let everyone in. Don't say yes to everything. Because I'm that guy. I'm a yes guy. If someone asks me I want a day off, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of person I am, you know? But I guess it's just how I am, and I can't change it. But there are times I wish I just said no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a whole other topic. But just to, like, kind of give you that answer is...
Okay.
I wish, you know?
There's a connection, like, you know how every idea you have, you're like, yes, I can do it. You're like that with people too. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a lot of hope in people sometimes.
Yeah.
You're just like, if I'm like this, you know, maybe they're like this too. You know?
Yeah.
But not everyone has the right mindset. Not everyone's the same, and
Exactly.
some people need that time.
Man, I feel like there's so many more things we could talk about, but that's for another podcast, though.
100%.
Great podcast.
I think this was a really successful
Thanks for having
podcast.
me.
We'll need a part two.
Hey,
Great
shout
speaker,
out to Amir for coming, okay?
Okay,
Everyone
okay.
come check out Amori
We'll
Cuts.
see you tomorrow.
For sure.
Best barbershop around.
For sure. Come through.
Great
Come
speaker, for real.
With that being said, thanks for watching, guys. Good night.
Said it's big body bands. Tell a friend to bring a friend.